Tonight I'm going to make the Luck of the Irish pasta. So I've got my oil and my butter already in the pan heating, and I'm going to add my coleslaw that was left over from making the burgers. I'm going to add my onion, the other half that was left over from making the burgers, and then I'm going to add the rest of the ground beef that was left over from making the burgers. And we're going to saute these guys for about 12 minutes. I'm breaking this up and just get everything to saute and start to come together here. And meanwhile, while you're doing this, I have my pasta cooking, so it'll be ready to go when we do it. But yeah, you want to have your pasta cooked and ready as well. You're going to use half a pound of your pasta that you like of your choice. I'm using linguine tonight, which is what I used in the recipe. And I did not buy the horseradish to put in this time, but horseradish is optional. You can totally put it in there if you like. So we're going to let this cook. Hope everybody's month is off to a great start. We just want to break all this ground beef up in here, and then the oil from the ground beef can help caramelize the onions and the cabbage that we have in here. We don't want to add the garlic until this is mostly done, because if you add garlic now, it will burn. And if the garlic burns, it just tastes bitter and gross. It's not very good, and we don't want anything to taste bad, so we just don't put the garlic in until after we've basically browned the meat. We'll let this go, and we'll be back in a few minutes to show you. Alright, so now it's been cooking. The ground meat is done, so I'm going to add the garlic, and we're going to cook it for a couple more minutes. And when that cooks through, just to get the garlic to become fragrant, you'll smell it as it starts to become fragrant here. We'll then add our spices and our salt and pepper. Salt and pepper too, you can taste it at the end just to see if it needs anything extra added to it at the end. I put a little bit in at this time, but more may be needed at the end. I would just err on the side of caution with your salt and your pepper, because you don't want to put too much in. And I'll take the Luck of the Irish Spice Blend and put that in there. And then I'll just give a couple cracks of pepper and a pinch of salt. Stir that around and let it kind of cook down. Get the flavors to come together. Yeah, it smells really good right now. You can smell the spices. And the spices this month, we roasted them in a pan, so like I told you in the burger recipe, so they would have just such an amazing flavor. To take your spices and roast them, it just gives you a pretty amazing way to cook and to just add flavor to your food. And it's natural, so you get all the healing parts of the spices, which is pretty awesome. We'll cook it for a couple minutes here, and then we'll add our white wine. If you're using, you can use broth as well if you want to. You don't have to use white wine. That is an option, though. You could use a chicken broth, a beef broth, a vegetable broth, kind of up to you that way if you did not want to use the white wine. When you use white wine to cook, all the alcohol does cook out of it, but you get the flavor of the wine. So you want to make sure that you use a decent white wine when you cook with white wine. You don't want something that tastes gross. And if there's any brown parts on the bottom of your pan, this is where you deglaze and get all the brown bits off the bottom. So then brown bits is flavor. You want that all into your pasta. let this cook for another minute or so. See how it's bringing to a boil there. It's just cooking through real nice. So now we're going to add our heavy cream into the pan. And we're going to add our Dijon mustard. I use my finger here. Put it on my spoon. Rinse off there. And then get this mixed all together as well. If you were using the horseradish, this is where you would add it as well. And we're going to let this cook for about 5 minutes so that the sauce can kind of come together. We'll be back for the next section. All right, so you can see it's boiling up good here, coming together as a sauce. Tasted it and it needs a little more salt and pepper, so I'm going to add some more pepper. I'm going to do a pinch of salt here, maybe 2. There's no salt in this seasoning blend, so salt is flavor. And we use pink Himalayan sea salt, which has good nutrients for you. It's not the iodized salt that you see. And this is where we'll add our peas as well, our frozen peas into the pot to get them to start to come together, come unthawed. These will cook for a few, just till they are unthawed basically, and then we'll add our cheese, and then we can finish by adding our pasta. I have my grated cheese right here. It's 1 cup. I add that to this and get it mixed together. I'm going to add half of the pasta here. I'm going to switch to my pasta stirrer that I have here to help kind of bring it together. We'll get this to come together and then we'll be back to show you the finished product. All right, we've got the pasta all stirred together, and now I'm going to grab, I have my tweezers for doing a pretty little display of the pasta here. Grab it. We'll grab some of the meat sauce out of there as well to kind of put over the top here. Which I ruined my pretty pasta, but that's all right. And then I'm going to garnish with some Parmesan Reggiano and Bon Appetit.